I thought about this earlier today, and the term frenemy. Have you heard that term, a frenemy? Somebody who comes off outwardly like a friend, but inwardly, covertly, they behave like somebody who would be your enemy. I encountered a person like that in my life, and I didn't realize, that word, I'd never heard that word before, and I didn't realize that this person actually enjoyed bad things happening, misfortune happening to other people. And I'm going to use his name. His name was Jim Hussey. And he was a guy from Maine, but he lived in South Carolina. And his wife was about as southern as you could imagine. And he had the hardest Maine accent that you could hardly understand him. Well, Jim convinced me. This was the first thing I did that was stupid. Jim talked about steering tires. No, I should clarify, this is an old trucking friend. And he had steering tires on his drives. And I asked him, why you put steering tires on your drives? And he said he got a much better ride and better fuel mileage. And I said, well, what happens when you get up in snow country or in the rain, He said, they rode great in snow, they rode great in the rain. And okay, so over the next 2 or 3 months, he ends up convincing me, because I didn't believe it, that my next set of tires, I should put steering tires on the drives. Because, much better fuel mileage, much softer ride. So, I'd never heard of that before, but why would a friend steer you wrong? So terribly wrong. Back then, steering tire was about $400, and you need 8 of them to put on your drives. That's a heap of money. So I ended up doing it, and it was the worst thing I had ever done to a truck in my life. I noticed absolutely zero increase in fuel mileage, and the back end of that truck was so squirrely and squishy. The sidewalls were so soft, which they were meant to be for steering tires, a softer sidewall. They were all over the road. You could hardly keep it centered in your lane. And I was never so glad for a set of tires to wear out in my life. And you remember that? How many miles did we get out of them tires? I think we got about 300,000, and we typically got 500,000 on a set of drives. So that was a lesson. And the next thing Jim tried to convince me of was there was this fad going around. And it was this gimmick, this scam, this rip-off tube, filter type of thing that you put on your incoming fuel line. Between the fuel line between your fuel filters and before it went into the fuel pump. And supposedly, this thing removed air, increased your horsepower, increased your fuel mileage. And I read up on this thing, and there's absolutely no science behind it. Unproven. Nobody's tested it. It's just some guy making these claims and selling this product. And Jim convinced other people to buy it, and nobody had actual facts and figures that they could show me over their increased fuel mileage or demonstrate their better horsepower. So I didn't fall for it this time. I didn't buy one. And other people did, and he convinced other people to. And the third thing, Jim, there's this product called air tabs. And Jim put them on the side of his truck. And he tried to convince me that those air tabs were giving him miraculous fuel mileage improvements. And the wind didn't shake him, buffet him in the wind as much. And I did a little reading on it. I did a little investigating. I called the guy who owned the company. And I said, I have seen no science behind this. Where can I find out more about these? Have you done any wind tunnel tests? Have you done any actual experimentation with them about with and without concerning fuel mileage? No, it's word of mouth. Everybody who's put them on has increased dramatically their fuel mileage. And I said, well, can you give me an example? Can I contact these people? No. I said, well, what about a wind tunnel test? That's a pretty simple, I mean, that's a pretty simple thing to do. And he said, well, they won't let me use the wind tunnel. Okay. Yeah, so these air tabs are a scam. You see them every once in a while. He's still selling them. You know, he'll get a write up in a magazine, and people will buy them and put them on their motorhome or their trailer or the back end of their truck, and they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing, and there's zero science behind it. And the last thing that this Frenemy did was my wife and I were buying our last truck, the Volvo. And we're going to run that truck till it was not worth repairing anymore and then retire. That Volvo, I ended up nicknaming the Antichrist. We spent, how much money did we spend on that? $65,000 our first year?
No.
That Volvo?
We didn't spend much money until the warranty run out.
Right. Okay, we had a 300,000 mile warranty, and of course we were through that in about a year and a quarter. And then that thing broke down more than it ran, and I'm not exaggerating. We were in the shop more than we were out of the shop. And after the warranty run out, the next year we spent $65,000 in repairs. No getting it back. There's no lemon laws that protect you in commercial vehicles. No lawyer would touch it. So we drove that truck until we couldn't drive it anymore. $65,000 the first year, a similar amount the second year. The third year was a similar amount. And Jim, every time I talked to Jim on the phone, he would laugh at our latest problem. You should have bought an international there, you bastard. Lobster. And I just quit calling Jim. I mean, it was devastating to us. It ruined us financially. Not ruined us, but money we had not planned on putting back into trucking, we had to use to continue trucking. And when we saw the writing on the wall that it was going to be a never-ending, we were going to constantly have to throw massive quantities of money at this thing, and we weren't generating enough income to offset what we were putting into it on top of the $2,800 a month truck payment. So we got out of it, and I went to work in the oil field, and she came home. And I never spoke to Jim again. I never took his calls, never called him, and I don't even know if he's still alive. And that was my one and only experience I've ever had with what they call a frenemy today. And I completely understand what that is, because that's what Jim was. Jim was a friend to no one, and if Jim did something really stupid, he would try to get lots of other people to do it to make himself feel not so stupid about doing it. And putting steering tires on your drives was one thing, and then the air tabs, and then the magic air remover in the fuel, and who knows how many people he convinced to do stupid stuff. He got me once. Okay, that's my trucking story. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to include a few clips at the end. I don't have much going on. Probably tomorrow I'll be getting a CV joint and replacing it on a Rhino, and I'll do a video of that. And then I'll be doing an oil change on my wife's Yamaha Raider, and air filter change and spark plug change, filter change. And I'm going to see if I can unplug that stupid Power Commander Dynajet and set this thing back to factory settings and remove some ridiculous wiring. I'll show you the wiring. Somebody actually used painter's tape on some of the wiring, but I want to make it right. I want to make it a good bike, and I'll show you. I'll bring you along as I do it. See ya. Oh, my wife's going to get mad that I'm showing a dirty stove. But, you know, there you go. I'm going to make the omelet of all omelets. I got a little bit of leftover sausage here that I cut into strips. 2 pieces of ham. 3 pieces of Swiss cheese. And 5 smallish fresh chicken eggs. So let me get these out of the pan and get the omelet started. All right, let's start the build. Let's see here. Oh, my friend Rob down in not Feral Human, Just Plain Common Sense Rob, but my other friend Rob down in Florida, Rob's Homemade Life, that would be Rob Moffat. He's going to start doing more egg cooking videos, and I think I will too, because I like cooking eggs, and when I go to bed at night, I have a hard time sleeping, so I watch YouTube videos on the TV until I get sleepy enough to fall asleep. So what I've been watching lately is egg cooking videos. And I think I'm going to add to that. Okay, here we go. Let's do the flip. Can I do this one-handed? Yes, I can. All right, we're going to let that heat for just a minute. And then we'll put it in the plate. Throw a little salsa on top of that. And we'll have a bite. Oh, yeah. A sausage, ham, Swiss cheese, 5-egg omelet with some salsa. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can cut this one-handed. Get one more bite here. That is an omelet. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm fixing to set my phone in here, watch me a little bit of Patriot Nurse, and finish this egg. Have a good day, everybody. Well, Breezy just returned from the wild with his latest kill. The faux monkey. And first, you tear the ears off. Then, you remove the brain matter. Then you throw the skins away. Mary, would you like a cracker? Mary want a cracker? All right, I'll leave you alone with your kill.
So you're not supposed to do it from an outside flock.
Yeah. Big John is a guy that fishes and hunts and traps, and he doesn't live far from us. Anyway, he's doing a what do you call it? Stop motion time lapse. He was doing some time lapse yard work, and I told him anytime he wanted to do some time lapse weed eating, he was welcome to come on over. And I said, and I'll let you sit in the front porch and pet my chicken. Oh wait, that didn't sound quite right. So I clarified that we have a front porch chicken, and he was welcome to come over and pet the front porch chicken. Well, come on, Ruthie. And we have a front porch dog.